Terrorist group Islamic State, banned in Russia, is regarded as the front counter not only to the real territory of states but also the space of a global network. Terrorists have long paid attention to the Internet as a means of promotion, coordination, tracking the movement of enemy forces, and even as a way of recruiting Western youth. On the one hand, the IG tried to intimidate the public and the governments of some states in the network. They upload videos where dealt harshly with the hostages, and glorify his regime, thousands of pictures and audio recordings designed to promote the power of the IG. On the other hand, the militants actively promote themselves on social networks and recruit young people. Using the methods of SMM, promotion in social networks, and the Internet by terrorists, language creep into the confidence of young people from countries around the world, attracting them to their side. So, in May of this year, recruiters almost managed to lure into their ranks a student of Moscow State University, Barbara Karolov. The girl was intercepted on the Turkish-Syrian border, which she tried to overcome illegally. The girl was taken home, but this is not an isolated case of recruitment. In addition, as reported by a number of sources, exposing Edward Snowden pushed the terrorists to shift to communication through encrypted communication channels. One of these channels could be Messenger Telegram, developed under the leadership of Pavel Durov. Messenger uses a multi-stage system of encryption. The system also has a secret chats, not allowing to intercept messages. According to Western scholars, IG extremists are becoming more savvy in technical terms. They learn how to cover their tracks on the network, to avoid potentially dangerous items that can include means of surveillance, as well as go into the so-called dark web, which is not indexed in a global network. Social networks have also become a valuable source of tactical information in the hands of militants. Using hashtags and geotagging, they track where and when it was published record or photograph, taken by soldiers of the enemy. Entire algorithms are used to receive information about troop movements and, based on these data, build tactics. Some technologies, however, provide an opportunity to falsify data on the geographical location and confuse the enemy. Sami Adventure, however, do not disdain the American social network Instagram, that sometimes played with them a cruel joke. So, in June, the photo of one of the terrorists allowed the U.S. Air Force to find and fix the headquarters of the militants. As for the other technological advances used by terrorists, the fighters' IG already master drones and drones. Western media quoted the words of the heads of anti-terrorist agencies concerned with possible lethal use of drones. Militants. With the help of drones, terrorists could potentially move and drop bombs in crowded places. The Russian military can also use social networks monitor for indirect data about the positions and behavior of the military forces of the Islamic State and the Syrian opposition. However, the strategy of Russia in Syria is more focused than the continuous monitoring and precise airstrikes on key targets, while Assad's ground forces that are able to provide strategic information on the operational environment. Western media reported that Russian forces used military drones as intensively as the US and the EU in Afghanistan. Nevertheless, the combat operations the Russian military drones are still used, it is a source told Agence France Presse, without specifying what these drones and how they were used. At the recent MAX RTI Aerospace and Ural Works of Civil Aviation have demonstrated a drone, equipped with a diesel engine, saves fuel, and can replace the Mi-8 helicopters and their counterparts in the observation and rescue operations. Drone in the next 2 years will go into series production. In addition to the drone operation in Syria, made it possible to test the Russian military in combat heavy multi-purpose fighter Su-30CM and a multi-purpose fighter bomber Su-34. According to Western experts, this technique loses latest models of weapons the United States and Europe in terms of precision strikes from a great height, but such a task in front of the Russian military in Syria and it is not necessary. The U.S. military used F-16 fighter, the A-10 attack aircraft and drones Predator, the main task, to destroy ground targets, including the headquarters and warehouses of the terrorist group.